Hey everybody, this is like super impromptu and special. My homegirl that is fighting for her life currently. She doesn't like the word fighting, it's triumphing for her life. She's fighting for her life. She has breast cancer. And so we're doing sound therapy for her, and we are helping balance her energy centers to create strength deep within so that she can heal as quickly as possible. And we are sharing that with you guys. So she has like a community in Twitter, and so she's like, we're gonna do a space, and I'm like, but I got some people in Facebook that want to see. So I know I didn't plan this, and
neither did I.
Yeah, no, this is super like out of left, but we're inviting you in, and I look forward to sharing this with you. So what I've placed around her is a black tourmaline and copper argonite for protection, healing jasper, a beautiful phoenix, because she is definitely burning through a previous reality and moving forward, and that is actually amethyst. And then we have a jasper juniper tree with also amethyst and rose quartz. The tree of life, as above so below. Her strength that she has is definitely allowing her to bear fruit later in life. Like she's gonna overcome and move forward. And then this is a labradorite for truth, for clarity, for understanding, and healing power. This is another amethyst. And then we got my bowls. And so she's gonna check in with her people, so just stay tuned and listen, because we're doing the space live now too. So it's like a double.
This is our first time, by the way.
Yeah.
And you guys, I don't hold spaces on Twitter. 2 days ago, I held one on a marathon for 7 hours. But I have a lot of like-minded people on Twitter with high vibing frequencies. So we started this space. I already see Dee. She also does sound therapy. She's a magnificent frequency that's adding to this space. So when we're talking about energetic frequency and uniting upon frequency, healing frequency, the people that are in this space that are going to be here and are here in this space on Twitter space. Obviously, we have our lovely Veronica, who's in my space right now. Sage is also here. She does plant-based medicine. This is on Twitter. This is not recorded on Twitter. I wish I did, but it's fate that it was not. People that are here are meant to be here. Veronica has a very loyal following on Twitter. So right now she is actually conducting the sound bath visually and auditorily on which platforms? Facebook. Do you want to tell them how to get there?
So on Facebook Live, it is Veronica Olga Hernandez, and I think after it's recorded there, I can post it to Instagram. We're just figuring this out. And then
we decided to do this literally 30 minutes ago.
Yeah. And then what's your Twitter, Jackie, if people want to go onto Spaces? What is your Twitter if people want to listen on Spaces?
Oh, J as in Jackie, Designs with an S, 2022. What's your PFP look like on Facebook? Which one is it?
My what?
On Facebook, what does your little profile look like?
Oh, it's a little red dress emoji girl.
Oh, there's your kitty. It's so cute. It's so adorable. Okay, so Veronica is one of my best friends in IRL, and I followed my intuition today. I was on a space this morning, Miss Sage, that beautiful woman in the audience on Twitter space. She started my morning off beautifully. I DM'd Veronica, and I was like, get in this space right now. You're gonna be here. So she came in. She listened for a lot of it. I was like, this is your opportunity to speak and with like-minded people, like-minded frequencies. So the sound bowls that Veronica is using is going to create a type of frequency. Each bowl plays a different frequency. or attunes to or resonates, whatever word you want to use. And so as we play the bowls, Veronica intuitively can tell which bowl, which has to do with each energy center. It's called a chakra, but Veronica uses the word energy center because she feels like it resonates with more people. So she'll be playing the bowls to attune to my body, healing from breast cancer, and she'll be able to tell which chakras need to be made louder or go ahead, Veronica.
So the way it works is when there's a very high pitched where the frequency is enhanced, that's an overactive energy center. When it's muted, diluted, muffled, it's so fractured that there's no energy able to thrive there, and it cannot push into the next energy centers. And so the way that works is like your root is your stability, your foundation, your security, your safety. And when we don't feel safe, we're afraid. And that is when our immune system is depleted and we're weakened, and that's when we're subjective to illness. So as we not only raise our frequency, but stabilize and balance our energy centers, that is when we can heal internally, and that's when we can fight any disease, and we can actually share some of that light and power and healing. So you have your root, and then you have your sacral, and then you have your solar plexus, and then you have your heart, and then you have your throat, and then your third eye, and then your crown. And so they all need to be balanced, but during her healing, it's important to keep her happy, to keep her balanced, to keep her thriving internally while in pain. This is a big part of why she is able to be her best self while suffering. I think so often when we believe we are suffering, we give up, and then we place the story onto the emotion, and we can ruin so many beautiful things that way. So separating her pain from her joy, from her willing to be so positive and be of the light, it allows us to separate them just for a moment so that her body can rest and her soul can thrive simultaneously. And that's what happens with sound therapy. It puts you in a meditative state. Once you're in a meditative state, your body will relax, it'll rest, it'll get out of the equation, and then your soul will talk to you, it'll speak to you in between thoughts and guide you and reassure you that everything is okay.
So one of the things that I'll contribute to this conversation is y'all, some of you've heard this in the Twitter spaces about me as an individual. I'm an extraordinarily private person. If you're in my life, you're in my text feed, my actual text feed, no DMs in that. You are as well with that case. But why I mention this is that I struggled with dyslexia silently. I was ashamed, embarrassed. I am smart. I did really well in school, so no one knew I had dyslexia. But maybe 3 people, my best friends, would know I was dyslexic. So I struggled very heavily, but very silently, as far as what I had to overcome and what I had to challenges I had to meet and what I had to endure to learn how to cope with having dyslexia, which in my mind is just a different way to think or learn. So then when I was 19 years old, I was diagnosed as being bipolar. And for 14 years, I had a silent struggle of bipolar, very silent. I had my core family and a core group of friends, but no one else knew. Like my best friend of college didn't find out till I said I was going to become public. I always call it coming out of the closet of being bipolar. So when I was 19, I was diagnosed, and then 14 years later, I started Twitter Spaces. So the day that I started Twitter Spaces, 9 hours after, I met this guy, and he asked me to co-host a show on women's mental health. I was new to Twitter, didn't want to do it, but then I decided, one of the other people that I had met the night prior, who knew my friend who started me on Spaces, said, "This is your opportunity." So I co-hosted every Wednesday morning, very early in Colorado time in the US. But people from all over the world came to this space, and they were talking about their struggles with chemical imbalances, how it affected their life, how they operated, how they thought. And I didn't tell anyone for three months. Then I was like, okay, I finally, after 14 years, will start to tell people that I have bipolar. Bipolar is not who I am. It does not identify who I am. It is something I have to deal with. But I felt like I could tell people how I figured out how to balance it, my struggles, how I overcame them, how I lived my life, how I got to be where I am today, and what a lot of people would consider a success story. Someone who successfully learned how to cope with bipolar. So having this type of experience going so silent and then becoming public on Twitter Spaces, I called personally before I came public about me being bipolar 7 people. Like core people from my life that had no idea. And I was shaking telling them that I was bipolar, that I thought they would reject me and that all the stigmas related to that. And everyone was like, oh, I love you. It wasn't a big deal to them. And I was like, oh my God, like so scared. So that struggle was for 14 years silent. But I have had cancer that I found out in November 2022 and was silent for the most part. Until 2 days ago when I publicly came out held my own space, really telling my journey. It was actually in Sage's space maybe 5 weeks ago. And y'all, when I'm saying Sage is a person on Twitter, she's wonderful to follow, so do it if you want to, no pressure. But I came out because I realized that we're not alone in our struggles. Our struggles could be something that unifies all of us in the sense that we went through hardships. How do you deal with that? And Veronica is my best friend, or one of them, and she was the only person besides my core family that found out that I have cancer. Oh man.
I'm like out of the frame. I just realized.
Go back in your corner.
Right.
So, yeah, I didn't tell anyone that I was diagnosed with cancer because my family was so impacted and it was very hard for them to deal with the information. So I told Veronica, because we do business together, we have created the Oracle card deck and are creating an empire together. But I told her, and I didn't tell anyone else because everyone was struggling with it, as far as me getting diagnosed with cancer. And I would go into these spaces on Twitter Spaces, and I would communicate with these lovely people, wanderers in this space, like I mentioned at the beginning, Dee, and like I mentioned like 10 times Sage, and then Annette's been in my Twitter Spaces, and all these other people that are actually been involved in my healing journey. For those 6 weeks, I did not know if I was going to live or die. When I figured out my diagnosis that I had breast cancer, it's very aggressive breast cancer. I found it at like 4.5 by 3.5 centimeters. And by the time that I started chemotherapy, it was 7.5 by 5.5 centimeters. That's huge. A rough estimate, this is a rough estimate, but if you think of a pomegranate, that was the size of my tumor. And then 2 months later, and it was the size of like a kumquat. And I attribute that to the amount of love I have in my life. Because when I started chemotherapy, I've done 6 cycles last Friday. This coming Friday will be 7. For 4 of the cycles, I had the most intensive chemotherapy that you can get. And so we were talking about earlier in one of the spaces, Donica's space, about manifesting. And I'm a huge believer of manifesting frequencies. I mean, creating your reality. And I didn't know how I created this reality, but I've always believed in love. And reality is the sense of me acquiring cancer somehow. I don't know. I don't have the BRCA gene. I don't know how I got it. But I do know how I'm healing it. And that is through love, frequencies, positive mindset, the ability of attention, the power of gratitude. All these forces are contributing forces to my healing journey. Beautiful friends like Veronica who inspire me. My beautiful mother who's an angel on this earth. She's alive and I love her. My sisters, my aunts, my people that I love so much, so dearly, that have been there for me. Like, I've had people fly in to take me to chemotherapy. Like, I could figure out a way to get there, but they were there in a heartbeat. My dad came and we had some super meaningful conversations that we had not connected on before. My aunt flew in. My sister lives in Denver, Colorado, and has been an absolute rock star. Like, she has been there for me at a drop of a hat. Like, she made light of things. Like, there's a video on my Twitter when I became public that 5 minutes before chemotherapy, for my 5th chemotherapy cycle, she sent me a really funny, like, happy, dancey video, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do it. So outside the chemotherapy, I pull over on a private road, so she was allowed to. So I just jumped out of the car and was like bumping up, like, I'm gonna triumph over this. Like, I'm gonna get this. That's my mindset. So when we're all thinking about this healing journey and we think about in our lives what we can and cannot control, some things are out of our control. And the beautiful thing in life is that moments like this, like, y'all are going to see this poster right now, time, but this moment in time, we are all together in a type of unity of frequency. So not only are we having a type of unity and frequency of her beautiful sound baths that are going to attune to myself and change my frequency, this sound bath you listen to right now is you were meant to find it. Like, think of that. Like, you were meant to scroll, to click on this, to click on that, to be here today or in the future when you listen to it. So I so appreciate people being on Twitter. I have some lovely friends. This is Salman that came in. What up? And, oh, Bobby, you made it! Bobby was holding a space earlier on today. It is recorded. Bobby's space, or her Twitter handle is Bobby Bicker, BOBBICKER. So if you want to hear the frequency that inspired Veronica and I, this space, we were in their space and Veronica's like, want to do a sound bath? I was like, yeah. She's like, when? I was like, I don't know. I don't want to detract from Bobby's space, and I was like, well, how about 30 minutes? She's like, yeah. So we started this space, and we're so happy to have everyone here. So these sound baths that we will play occasionally, we work a lot more on a spontaneous manner, Veronica and I. Like, we're not much of like, hey, we do play and we have business, but like, whatever. So this is more spontaneous. But these spontaneous, if you want to DM people that are in Twitter space for them to connect to these frequencies, please feel free to, not required. But if you are inspired during these spaces, if we get people in the right energetic frequencies, there's a woman named Woo Woo that does intention circles on Shadowfox space, in Diana space, on Twitter space. And on Twitter space, if you're of like minds of high frequency and high value, I invite you to come join. It's Shadowfox and Diana space on Wednesdays and Saturdays. When I was going through at 1:30 Colorado, 3:30 Mountain Standard Times. Wednesdays and Saturdays. Anyways, why I mentioned them, besides them being awesome, is that getting through hardships, one of the things that was getting through hardships was actually the fact that I was tuning into the frequency of certain Twitter spaces with certain individuals that were vibing at a certain frequency. And I always say this when someone's in a Twitter space, you never know who's listening. The beauty of that is one person can have the ripple effect to affect so many other people. And Diana, the woman that hosts on Wednesdays and Saturdays, she was saying that when a pebble hits it's the ripple effect. When a boulder hits, it's a wave. So when we're all together and we're all in these spaces and we all are sending love, I invite you to, if you are inspired, to send love out to the universe. Like I said, if you're tuning in now, if you are listening later, we have the ability to send out love and frequency, and you never know who's listening. I was in a space yesterday that was super high vibe, and I was vomiting. Like, not to be gross, but like my esophagus burned so bad that I threw up. It wasn't from nausea, but that shows the fact that like I was separating myself from my pain, and I was being inspired by light, love, quotes, positivity, art, fashion, and that's what you can do. You have the power of attention. I just had my bucket when I was ready. I did it and got over it. And, you know, when I was still folding laundry and like listening to spaces. So I am so excited for everyone to be here, to everyone to share this journey with me and Veronica. We really are pure intention people to spread light and love. And our beautiful card deck that we created, which is our baby. Did you pull cards already?
Yeah.
Okay, Veronica pulled 3 cards.
Okay. First we have progress. Stop and look at how far you have come. I think this is a gentle reminder to us all that maybe we're not where we think we should be, but we're definitely not where we were. And as we move forward, we need to recognize that we've been through so much. We've come from something, changed it, leveled up, created 20 times over. And that's where we're at now. We're gonna get past this just like we do everything else. And it's important to recognize our wins as wins, not as challenges. I think society likes to call them trauma, but really it's a lesson. Next we have passion. The intensity we feel within is our passion.
That's what we pulled last time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what's pulling us out of our little isolation. No one see me. No one needs to know my business. I don't want to hurt anyone. The idea of our purpose is to heal and inspire others for better. You know, there's that threshold. There's low vibe and there's positive vibe, and that's basically all there is. And we're working at getting people to positive vibe out of, you know, negativity in all aspects and as often as possible. So I think this is what's pushing us through our own stuff every day.
Hold the card so they can see it. So as far as passion goes, I'm an extraordinarily passionate person, and I'm also focusing my attention on the positive. Will you describe a little bit about what you trademarked on the back and how you came about modern guidance?
Oh my gosh.
Show them the thing though. Keep it showing.
So modern guidance came to me. I think I was talking to my son yesterday, and he was like drilling me in regards to my purpose for my deck in my book. And I was like, well, gee, since my prayer that I remember at 4 years old, that I could help people just like me, has been my life's purpose. My brother and I were philanthropists, and all we wanted to do was bring everybody with us. And we knew that we weren't accepted in places, and we were gonna make sure that we got everyone in. And that's what we did. That's what we fought for, and that's what we became. And so the painting, the colors, is actually a painting I did for one of my salons. And she came over, and we were collaborating, co-creating. And I'm like, I see, and I was so matter of fact.
A swing!
And I'm like, and it's that painting, and then it's in a circle, and then it's a new circle, and like, I just could see it, and it was hard for me to describe it. But I said, it's like our cycles of life, like the ebbs and flows. Like, just because it's a cycle doesn't mean it's easy. Like, you have your ups and downs, but that's what it is. That's the hero's journey. And so she did it beautifully. She's like, oh, okay, I know what you're saying. And she like totally like.
Oh, by the way, it doesn't look like what she's talking about, but I got what she was talking about. She's like swings, and I was like, I did on Illustrator. I was like, here's a swing, and then I'll do that. She's like, in a circle, and I was like, dee. She's like, the colors of painting, and I'm like, yeah. So we didn't collaborate on the images except for this one.
Yeah, this was our one. But it was so perfect because I'm like, yes, it's like a mandala. It's geometric shape. It's proportionate, and it tells a story. If you just look at it, like, it tells you so much. And so when I described the creation of it, it's so funny because we were laughing our butts off as I was saying, it swings and it's round, and she was like, what the fuck are you talking about? But okay. And so it was just a lot of fun creating this, like, big time. And I want to address the part where I've said a lot of times, like, it was stressful, it was so much. And I mean, the details, the paperwork, the fine print, you know, all of that stuff is a lot for me. I don't enjoy it. So I'll be dramatic and get all overwhelmed about the process sometimes. But I will say that the creation, the documenting of the lessons, and then the putting the lessons with the images was so much fun. I mean, we had a blast, and I just want to say that Jackie was definitely my guiding light. I was in probably one of the deepest depressions ever that I had ever experienced. I've been depressed before, but this one was, I mean, I didn't get out of bed for a year. That's long story short.
Well, you got out of bed to eat pizza.
I had a pizza in my bed. I ordered it and I picked it up from the door and I got back in bed. And sometimes I had to go to the restroom.
Or to let me in.
And I had to let my friend in to tell me to get my shit together because I owed myself first, but the world. And I'm
going to pause right there so someone clicks off this. I did not tell her to get their shit together. I was so kind.
She was so kind.
I was so inspiring.
I took it as like, get your shit together, because when someone says to you, you're bigger than this, not in those words, but that takes a lot of belief in you. That is basically saying that they believe in you and they are encouraging you to be that person that they know you are. And it takes special people to call people out in that way. And everyone knows I'm super direct and I cuss and I'm just me. And so, like, I translated it, and it was like my friend saying, get your shit together. Like, you know who you are.
I appreciate you saying that, Veronica, because we did an Instagram video, and I asked her, we just ad-lib stuff, and I was like, how'd you think about the deck? She was, it's so stressful and hard. And I'm like, Veronica, dude, we had so much fun. Like, we literally, my art brought her messages visually to life.
Yeah, for sure.
And I love Veronica because we're super positive people and we align. And so, like, frequencies, and it's so funny, Veronica, you just said that. Because she and I never talked about that because she doesn't want to be limited with her verbal expression or her posting.
Or anything.
She wants to have her own things. So, but it's cool that you said that right now because, like, our purpose and our passion, like the passion card, really came together to create this beautiful co-creation, this beautiful baby. Like, it's growing. Like, we have projects that we're working on. We're gonna do pillows.
She's been bitching about the pillows from the beginning.
See?
We are gonna have pillows, and they're gonna be beautiful because their designs are dope. And when you guys see, like, the box, the deck, all of it, it's so beautiful. Like, it's all trademarked because it has to be protected. It's that brilliant, really. And when you see the project in its entirety, it's named Modern Guidance, and it's essentially healing moving forward. It's evolving, and the name Modern is just going to keep it evolving. It'll never be a stagnant movement in regards to betterment. And I think we're all in a place where we can represent ourselves in the healing journey without attaching ourselves to something that would qualify us or not. And we're in a world now where authenticity and honesty and frequency is really all that matters, and it shows in our deck. I mean, people hold it and they're just like, whoa, like I feel the
you
energy.
You people cry.
Every time, basically. It's funny.
So she's a reader. I'm the designer. Yeah, I'll pull a card and like, oh, maybe you should think about this. But she actually can read the energies. Like, what did the energy mean that was pulled from the deck? And the fact, we did one other video where I also am laying down, not shown, just like a lot of hand movements.
Hand puppets.
I just want to enjoy my sound bath when she does it. So it's like, you know, so it's not like you guys awkwardly looking at my face and stuff while I breathe. So it's like, just take a picture of my body and my hand, you know. Yeah, so I know that we want to get to a sound bath, and we definitely will.
We have a last card.
Okay.
We never got to the third card.
We got to do that one too. But I know people certainly came here for the sound bath in general, so y'all, if you can wait a little bit longer, that'd be awesome, because we are going to just discuss, this is like super random, spontaneous session that we're having, and it's also telling our story behind my cancer journey, the deck, Veronica and my friendship, like all of these aspects. So if you are here just for the sound bath on Twitter, I'll figure out how to link it to Veronica's profile so you can hear the sound bath. But I think right now it's important to continue our message of what we're speaking upon with the message that Veronica just pulled. And also, Veronica is an author. She's being published by Hay House, a very respectable publishing company in the U.S. I am honored to be the illustrator of her book, because the cards are in her book. So I'm very honored to be a part of her journey, both on the card deck, her book that she's writing, and how her life ties into, like, we talked about in our sessions together, passion and purpose. Like, how do you align what you're so passionate about in life and your purpose? And mine is to help people. Like, I love to be kind and connect and to influence positively in any way I can. So what's so fascinating about this whole type of journey that we have together is that she has been encouraging me to become public with my journey of cancer, to show how I'm overcoming it. Not just to say in 16 weeks and then, you know, I have to get a double mastectomy, so that's another 6-week recovery, and then other stuff. Like, not all at the end, and they go, huge, here's some videos, but how am I doing it? Follow my journey, join my journey as far as like watching and contributing and being a part of this amazing experience. And so with Veronica, seeing her transform from when she was in her darkest of days, and for me to be able to have the honor, like, it's an honor to be Veronica's friend and like be invited over to her home, and us having this IRL friendship while also developing these beautiful friendships on Twitter Spaces. So Diana is in this space, Diana Bishop. She is the host, or considered co-host. I don't know, but they both do it. You only allowed one host on Twitter, but it's her space. I am Diana Bishop, is a wonderful person to follow. She is having her space, is what I mentioned. Anyone that's now tuning into Facebook, Wednesdays and Saturdays at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. Magical. But I would only invite people that are of positivity and beauty, or want to learn about it, because we are creating this space to rise the frequency of the world for the positive, for love, connection. I mean, they get on cool subjects. Like, if you like manifestation, law of attraction, the attitude of gratitude, these things are my jam. So she's on Twitter Space right now. Don't know if y'all can see her. But we will bring up speakers at the end of our sound bath, so you can share your journey and your experience with how you are being affected by this sound bath. Like, what does this sound bath resonate with you? You don't have to be Cancer to listen to this. You can just, it's attuning the energy centers. So I want y'all to understand that we want to hear from you and your experience about, and there's a little chat thing there, isn't there?
Yeah, I can't even see from here. I haven't even been
We'll get
looking
to
at
you
it.
too. We'll get to you too, Becky. We'll get to you too. We want to include you.
And we still have one more card.
One more card than that.
Yeah.
Okay, then we'll do Samba.
Yeah.
And then you can talk about your book.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll hear from the people first.
Yeah.
Okay, let's do the card.
Let's go. All right. So the last card is growth. As long as it's growing, it isn't dying.
Okay, show it clearly to them.
And so this is like so perfect for what's happening in this moment and what we're discussing and what we're growing through. We're growing through this chapter, and it's so beautiful because I didn't share this. I didn't even like harp on it. I wanted to forget it, but that's not reality. So I'm going to bring it up really quickly here as a growth situation for us both. So we're trying to launch a project. We're becoming authors and designers and all this stuff together. And there's all this money and energy getting put into this project. And then, you know, it gets harder to like connect. It gets harder to just be on a high vibe. And that's what we've like loved when we come together is we're so high vibe. And for a while we weren't. And things kind of came to a head where she's like, Veronica, I have cancer for 6 weeks now. I have been going through so much with my family and the tests, and you know, that's why I've been away, and you know, this is the reality of what's happening. And the day before, I think, I had this like crazy energy come over me where I was just like, we have to set this in stone now. We have to move forward. This has to be like a done deal. I don't know why it just does. And we're friends too, and we work together. So it was one of those moments where it was like, this isn't personal. This is about, you know, moving forward in an investment. And, you know, so we have this discussion and we came to terms with the reality and, you know, where we were and what we had to do moving forward. And within the week, I find out I have cancer. And I'm just like, oh my God, that's what I get. That's what I get for even like making it about a project and not even like making what was happening, you know, in our health, in our frequencies. Like I didn't make that the most important thing. And then I realized that because I was about to endure my own struggle, my own journey, I knew that that's why I had to push it along, because I wasn't aware if we were going to be healthy or not, if we were going to live. She knew she would, but I didn't know if I would. So I wanted to be published so that if I died, I left it behind and it was my life's work. And so I was like, cool, I'm in the clear, I can go now. But the way she's sharing that she allowed her family in, and I mean, her dad, awesome. We had cacao ceremony right before we shaved her head. We were listening to like NWA and Eazy-E while her sister cut one of her pigtails off. Like it was a whole vibe, man. And we all came together and
Wrecking Ball.
Oh my God.
What are the?
We had a playlist.
We had some music going. Like I wish we had like playing choreography as my hair was being cut off. Like couldn't think like some like moves or anything. But it was so fun because we made a really hard experience. Well, at least I did. Light, and then I had my lovely.
She was like doing monkey moves and like I don't know what
cat. I was cat.
Yeah, I don't know what was happening, but she was like, okay, so I'm gonna go behind my chair and then just like record. And I was like, this is fucking great. This is fucking
So
great.
you'll all see those videos. Like I literally like.
We have all of them.
I had a chair and I like crouched. I had a really ugly haircut. Like she chopped off my sister chopped off one of my braids. I donated it. both of them, all of it.
Yeah.
And then Veronica chopped off the other braid, and I was like, whatever, let's just do crazy hairstyles. So she chopped it off. We did a mohawk. And I was like, God, I never thought I would look good with short hair, and I don't.
No, she doesn't.
I do not. But
she's a hot baldy.
But I look good. I look oddly like good with like buzzed head, and my boyfriend calls me his bald beauty because I don't think I look good. I think I look like a little chia pet because I'm like growing back my hair. Chia.
So for my Facebook people, when I do those silly videos like in wigs, like they're her wigs, like she's like, come over, let's play my wigs, and I'm just like, okay.
and she the blue
yeah.
one, the blue one that went like got so much like,
yeah.
what do you call that in social? Interactions?
Yeah, engagement.
Engagement. The engagement on her blue wig was super funny because she was cutting my bangs for my like real life outdoor wigs. And then I was like, try wigs on, and she tried the blue one on, and we were just like dance. She was having wine, and we were just dancing, and like she had her like little thing going on, and so we're making light of this. Like, yeah, I have no hair, I'm bald, and I prefer like I want my hair back. And what the little kids.
But we weren't telling anyone at this point.
No.
So me playing in a wig, like out of nowhere, like my audience thinks I'm super serious. In my random videos, I'm just laughing and I really don't talk. So like I'm trying to present myself more. But that video came out of left for everyone. One of my friends is like, homegirl, I don't know what this gyrating dance is, but do not do that again. It was like, I knew him since high school, and it was just so funny to me because we were just like getting through something difficult, and we try to make the best of it while not sharing it.
We don't try. We do.
We do.
We
totally do.
Rock it.
So yeah, if it's not growing, it's dying. She's growing so much, and she's refusing to just give up and just be angry or upset about what's happening. She's fighting a negative situation, and she's transmuting it into positivity, into positive light, and it's so beautiful. And me being her friend, I'm seeing her and I'm like, whoa, I got so much to learn about so much. Oh my God, we're not even gonna get into that because we gotta do our sound bath. But I just wanted to share that her energy and her love for others and her love for herself is so inspiring and so beautiful. And I have just, every time I get in my own little funk, in my own way, I recognize that there's so much beauty in the world, and it's a big bright light to have a friend like her, and it pulls me out of it. And then I remember what's bigger than me, and then she's like, spaces and all these awesome friends, and then I'm like, well, I have cool friends too, and so we like merge all our friends, and here we go. We're gonna share that with you today. We're doing a full sound bath. I have my bowls around her body, and we're just gonna make sure that all of her energy centers are balanced so that internally she is as strong as possible as she works through chemotherapy and so many difficulties and challenges that she really didn't have any control over, but she's also not letting her slow. So it's not slowing her down, all right?
I want to say thank you. I show great gratitude for Veronica and her time today. She chose to be with us, so I so appreciate that. And she's with me physically, but energetically. I see Paul, Diana, Sage, Salmon, Shadowfox, Annette, Pharrell, Wander, JJ, Evergreen, Jessica, and Coco have tuned in right now. We've had people circle in and out of our spaces just waiting for the sound bath to start, I think, as well.
Yeah.
And also, like, sharing our story is also when you invest in our products in the future, you're investing in causes and also energetics and frequencies and helping people. We're really big into helping people in reality. as much as possible. Veronica donated her time on Saturday to help underprivileged kids, families. And so we're here to make a positive difference. I appreciate y'all in this space on Facebook. I haven't met you yet. You'll see me my face eventually, but I just did really grandiose hand movements, so you just could stare at that.
Do a puppet.
It's a really bad butterfly.
Now we're talking.
I'm a butterfly.
Now
Okay,
we're talking.
now we're just sound with everybody. Right now it is exactly 7 p.m. I love time.
Oh my gosh. We
On-
spoke that long.
I know, we're so good at it.
Like, whoa, where did the night go? Okay.
So where does this go? The phone.
Just set it down.
And
And then
all right.
I have 2 crystals on each side of your hands. I want you to hold them for me.
Okay. Thank you guys for being here. Sound baths and commence.
And, yep, and then the other one.
Are they chandas?
They were.
Oh.
And they are both Herkimer diamonds, the strongest, most compressed crystal, most powerful, most healing. And basically it removes all negativity and it transmutes it to positivity. Okay?
And the crystals that we're holding is actually my best friend who passed, who united us together. And I didn't know she was going to do this because I was twittering when she set this up. So in honor of her too, thank you, Chanda, for bringing wherever you may be in the universe, Veronica and I together, and we will start now.
Her wanting to do the deck together most certainly like sealed the deal.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. that is your throat.
Weird.
Yeah, that one was interesting for sure. That was very blocked. It was very blocked.
Now you guys need to see the back of my head. Let's go my way out of here.
Get out of That's funny.
Are you in there right now?
I'm
Yeah.
in here. Yeah.
Hello again.
Yeah.
There's me again.
Hello.
Oh, okay, guys. I'm gonna bring up my friends that are high vibe to speakers. Anyone would like to speak? Please request the mic on Twitter Spaces.
I'm gonna peek to see like if we have anybody here too.
Yeah, for sure. I would love to hear what you guys have to say as far as like